to us today through him.
Yes, sir.
Because he is divinely, spiritually connected.
Right.
And so what he says is the truth. And so I learned not to try to question the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but do what he said do. And then if there's a consequence, I just have to face it. All right?
Yes,
And so
sir.
with that being said, I thank Brother Terrence for being on point. Because I watch him evolve from just a regular street person and getting along with everybody and doing everything. He has already been put in a mindset and a position where if it ain't right, then I can't deal with it like that. And so we got to take the same posture. Everybody all right with that?
Yes, sir.
So without any further delay, our conversation, help me to bring on our brother, Dr. Victory Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
In the name of Allah, who came in the person of a man.
That's right.
The man's name is Master Farad Muhammad. And in the name of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, a black man born in Deep Step, Georgia, right outside of Sandersville, Georgia, who when he first heard this man speak, he knew what he was looking at.
That's right.
And as we say in the streets, it takes one to know one. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad did not know that he was already a God when he saw God, but when he saw God, he knew what he was looking at. He was looking at the one who was scheduled to come at some time
That's right.
to the people who've been oppressed for now 400 years. And in the name of the most honorably, I can't say most honorable, I just tell you, honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he told us don't say most honorable.
Right.
He did that for the message. He said the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the best student of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
I'd like to greet you in the greetings and peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
I'm not a Khalid or Dr. Ava or Nuri or somebody who is well known and has that type of spirit and generates a lot of energy to bring people out.
Right.
I'm not an entertainer. I'm an explainer.
Who is?
And a lot of times when I teach, people don't be bearing witness because they try. Now I'm saying stuff they never heard before in that particular type of way. And they trying to understand,
Figure it out.
figure it out.
Right.
Now, when I was up here the last time, I did a presentation, and I didn't go finish the presentation at all. So I'm going to do that presentation, finish it with the slides to leave you information so you can go back home and think on it. Don't be too hard on yourself about you not being able to bring people out to the mosque. You see this right here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
People can get the teachings
Right.
without coming to the mosque.
That's right.
Now, when I was in the called the first, the people didn't have this access to this type of information.
Right.
And the only way they can hear this teaching of the supreme wisdom was to come to the temple.
Right.
Right.
Okay? But now we have put this information on YouTube, on Facebook, and so I just ran to my wife, just ran to a brother this past week, who he just found out about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan a couple of months ago from looking at a YouTube. Then he's been searching out some Muslims since then, but he got it from YouTube. So there's a lot of people out there who are looking at the teachings, who are listening to the teachings.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
However, many of y'all involved in pyramid schemes. And as you know, it's the first one to come in to the pyramid scheme that makes the money. When the others finally get it, you be at the bottom, you make everybody on top rich.
Right.
Okay? And then it shut down.
Right.
So, you are at the top of the pyramid.
Yes, sir.
Now, when the people wake up, to be in place to capitalize on them coming in.
Yes, sir.
See, I be joking with people. I say, yeah, when the stuff hit the fan, and y'all wanna rain, you run down to the farm and you better bring a tent, number one.
Right.
And number two, you better have a receipt
Oh, yes, sir.
of where you donated to the food bank program.
That's right.
Or a receipt where you bought product from the Stable Goods Project.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
But if you ain't got no proof that you have been trying to help you, we take all your gold, the gold teeth. And I don't want no, I want the gold 24 karat, 14, 18 karat. I ain't talking about no plated stuff.
Yes.
Are you ain't getting up in here?
Yes, sir.
Because we got people who got receipts.
Right, right.
If we only got 1,400 acres, 1,556 acres, which is 1,300 football fields, but we can't put 40 million people up on that.
Right.
So eventually, with your boy in office, doing his job, selling America out to the Chinese.
Right.
It's so bad that the farmers are committing suicide. Now the airplane pilots for the Air Force are committing suicide. You'll get to some of that. So he's destroying America.
Right.
And while he is and his family going to get rich, selling the country to foreigners. And leaving nothing out here but the poor white folks and you and I and the brown folks to fight over the crumbs. Because they're just trying to destroy things behind them.
Right, right.
So we're going to have to build a future for ourselves.
Yeah.
So each one of us is going to have to think about starting some type of business.
Right.
Right.
Okay? Now, it's going to be difficult because if people don't want to support you, I've started a number of different type of businesses.
Yes, sir.
And, I laugh. When I start something, I laugh at them now. Because I'm going to wait them out.
Right.
The Stable Goods Project started off very slow,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. We're going to keep going.
Right.
Me and Stan, we're going to keep going, and the Ministry of Agriculture people are going to keep going and going and going, and now it's increasing every time, and now people be worried. They're starting to get worried now.
Yes, sir.
This climate change and this heat, they getting worried now. So what I'm saying is set yourself up
Right.
now for the future
Right.
Yes, sir.
by setting something up that people will have to pay you for
Right.
when they finally wake up and realize they got to come this way.
That's right.
So don't feel bad about the numbers.
Right.
These Negroes know, and they're playing games with God now.
That's right.
These Negroes know
Yes, sir.
they're playing God for food. So we have to do our part. We got to keep pushing, but you got to do it with a smile
Right.
and don't get all upset with yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because Master Farad Muhammad got all this figured out.
That's right. That's right.
What did he come here for? See, why did he come? Master Farad Muhammad, that's the one on the far left there. Looks like a white man, don't he? Yeah, he looks like a white man. No, he looks like a white man. He's mixed. His father was black. He got a white woman from the Caucasus Mountains to produce a child that can slide in and out of America, okay, unbeknownst to the enemy. And he got that good hair. So when he came around with his silks into the black community, the women just loved him.
Right. Right. Right.
So he came as a what? Thief
In the night.
in the night to steal something.
Right.
Okay, steal the prey from a beast who had swallowed us whole.
Go ahead.
And we had cried out to God, and our different names that we call God, as we came from Africa, some of them were Muslims as well, and nobody came for us. Now, there must be balance brought into the universe.
Right.
There's a principle in Kemet called Ma'at, which means balance. And I asked a question on my Facebook page is how can balance be brought back based upon our condition? And the people gave some good answers, but I don't give my answers all the time because I wanted to make them start thinking.
That's right. All right.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, has taught us that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
Now, eternal is kind of a long time.
Right.
Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farah Muhammad physically are not going to be here forever.
Right.
We don't believe in no spook, no BS they teach in church. And we can't beat the church on that lie they put out. We just can't beat the church on that lie. The lie they put out is that you can do all the damage you want to. You can give your life to Satan, to the devil. You can party, you can play, you can do wrong by your brother and sister, you can steal, you can kill. But at the end of your life, with your last breath, if you can say, I believe that Jesus Christ is my personal Savior, then you're going to go to heaven forever. Now, we can't beat that lie. That's a hell of a lie to tell a sorry person. Lazy, sorry, scared, and greedy. That's a hell of a combination. Lazy, sorry, scared, and greedy that you want to have eternal life and you ain't done a damn thing for nobody, not even yourself. That's why you die early.
Right.
You ain't done nothing right. And yet you expect to get heaven after you die? For what?
Good question.
And then you're going to be up there with, they say you're going to have gold slippers and wings. Now, which is it? You going to walk or fly? I mean, which is it? You get wings and gold slippers. I mean, come on, that's a waste. Okay? I mean, number one, if you get the gold slippers and the wings, the gold is heavy. That's going to hold you down.
Right.
I mean, come on, y'all. But when you done blasted a person's mind to smithereens by telling them there's a woman had a baby and then they have a man involved in it.
Right.
It was by a spirit that produced a baby in a woman.
Right.
Now, they done took Jesus, who is the perfect representative of submission to the Father,
Right.
an example for us to follow, and then took Jesus and lied on him to say that he wasn't one of us. Not only wasn't he black, hell, he wasn't even human.
Right.
So how can we ever be like Jesus because all of us had a physical daddy and a physical mom?
Right.
Well, Jesus did too, but they lied about that.
Right.
Why? To lock you out of the struggle of you becoming like Jesus.
Wow.
When you come into the Nation of Islam, you first hit with a struggle. The sisters, y'all put on their headpiece.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
What'd you do that for? I mean, what sin was that?
Right.
To put on a headpiece, to put on a long dress. But women catch hell. That's why they don't come up in here.
Right.
Because they don't want to put that on because they're going to catch hell.
Yes.
Then the brother, he got to go out there in the hot sun and sell papers. Okay? That's why the brothers don't come in. They got to go in the hot sun and sell papers, and the sisters got to cover up their body and put on the headpiece and cover up their hair. So they don't come in because of that.
Yes.
Well, something captured us.
Right.
Something captured us. I know what captured me. 1966, I got the autobiography of Malcolm X when I was in prep school. And when I read that the white man was the devil, that was it for me. Went downstairs in the lunchroom, cussed every cracker out that was in there. I know who you are. You're the damn devil. I'm not going to work for you, and I'm not going to work for your daddy. But by the end of the book, I got confused. Because Malcolm got confused.
Right.
And I got confused. It took me 4 years to get past Malcolm to get to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why did this man, Master Farad Muhammad, come. His father made him to come.
Right.
His father didn't have to come after us because the other scientists said that we was completely devils. We were made into the white man. We love evil, we love hog, we're full of swine and evil. We follow the white man in every negative aspect that he produces.
Right.
So let's kill them all. But no, said, no, I'm coming. There's a scripture that they must be redeemed. Now, what did they come for? Why did he come? He didn't have to come over here to kill white folks. I'm going to get to this in a minute. Y'all have to force me to go through these slides. I'm going to go through these slides. I'm going through these slides. He could have killed them from over there with the planes. 1929, he already had the planes.
Right.
So if he wanted to kill them, he could have killed them. So what did he come here for? He came here to make a nation of gods that would never deviate. Now wait a minute. We know about 66 trillion years ago how the moon was made. That was one of my brothers, our brothers that deviated.
Right.
He tried to kill everybody. In the process, he blew the moon up. This is in our teachings. Why did he blow the moon away from the earth? Why did he try to kill everybody? Because they would not bow down to him. He wanted everybody to speak the same dialect. And because they wouldn't do that, he wanted to kill everybody. That boy was crazy.
Right.
Okay? Now, we have problems over and over again of civilizations going up and civilizations coming down. And we didn't know what the problem was until a man named Yaqub figured out that we had a problem in us. And the Egyptians also knew we had a problem. The Kemetic people knew that we had a problem. They called one of them Osiris, which was black, and the other was Seth, which was red. They was fighting inside of us. So we knew that there was two things going on inside us, good and bad, right in us. And Yaqub saw it and said, look, I'm going to make a people out of them. So we can see it, put them in charge, because in the past, when we, in our own society and civilization, when people break the law, we cut your hand off. And you steal, you cut your hand off. You steal again, we cut your foot off. You steal again, we cut your head off. Okay, you rape a woman, we kill you.
That's right.
Now, we talk about engrams. You know, that's things that, you know, you shun because of situations that happened in the past, you don't know why. When you see somebody's head cut off, or when you go to the market, you see somebody with no hand on one side and no leg, or no foot on the other side, you can want to know what did they do, because I don't want to do that.
Right.
Now you don't want to do that not out of love for law. You don't want to do that because you don't want to get your hand cut off. Okay, that's a whole different thing. That we try to produce a nation of people who love the law.
Right.
Okay, not afraid of doing wrong.
Right.
But they don't want to do wrong no more. Now, once we get to the point that we don't want to deviate no more, then Master Farad Muhammad knows that he can give us the science of transforming the universe.
That's right.
But why should he give power to a nut?
Right. Say that.
Good question.
A nut. What are you going to do? We know he tried to blow the planet up 66 trillion years ago.
Right.
So why should he give us that type of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that we can destroy ourselves and everybody else? No, what happened to that brother must be fixed. Now, we didn't come in here to be a part of a process, a long-term process of psychological surgery. We didn't come in here for that.
Right.
Okay? I came in here because I hate the white man. Okay? But then when I found out where the white man come from, then to find out that that problem that the white man is still in me.
Yes. Yes.
Then I realized that the only way he got power is because he can play me and play you
Right.
with the weak thing that's in us.
Wow.
So now I want to get rid of him, but when we learn that we got to get rid of it in us, then you say, oh, wow, this is going to be wild.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about y'all, but as the head of the Ministry of Agriculture, I have to watch out for my brown jerky.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
When somebody underneath me in my organization
Yes, sir.
comes up with an idea
That's right.
And we vote on it, and if it's a good thing that we all vote, that's what we do. We try to help that idea. Now, we don't have long conversations no more than Ministry of Agriculture on our Tuesday nights. Because people know you saw the lip dripping, and you're going to come up with some idea. Okay, what y'all think, y'all? That sounds like a good idea. Okay, you in charge. When the minister puts me on an assignment and I need help, I get people from the Ministry of Agriculture to help me, and I take what they do and report, have them to report. Each one of them do a report, then I do a summary report, and I send all of that to the minister.
Right. Yes, sir.
With their name on it.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to be accused of stealing nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to steal no money. I don't want to steal nobody's product. I don't want to steal nobody's ideas. I don't want to steal nothing.
Come on.
Okay? I don't want nobody looking at me cross-eyed, and I know why they're looking at me cross-eyed. When you look at me cross-eyed, I want to be, what the hell's wrong with that person? I know I ain't done nothing to you.
Right,
You
right.
understand? So I don't worry about it.
Yes, sir.
Okay? But this is, so I have to work at that.
Yes, sir.
Because I know my brown jersey, I can feel it. When I get insecure, I can feel it.
Come on.
Okay? So whenever somebody makes me feel insecure, I start working on myself to get past that, get over that.
Yes.
Because if I keep feeding that insecurity, the brown germ will continue to grow in me. And then one day I may have some serious power. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to be afraid of anybody who try to take my power, and I'm going to try to cut their head off.
Wow.
See, that's what will happen if you don't check it at a small level. When you get up to a higher level, and then all along you're going to think that you're doing the best thing for the organization, for the nation, to cut that person's head off because you feel that they are destroying the nation, but what they have just did was question you.
Right.
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 But you think you're infallible now. So you can say, take care of that nigga.
Right. Come on.
See? I don't want to be like that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm working on myself now.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because that is real. That brown germ
Come on, teach on.
is real.
Yes, sir.
Okay? That's the weaker part of yourself.
Yes, sir.
So we took the weaker part out for us to look at and get tired of it. They put them on top of us, and they done a job so bad, we hate their guts.
Yes.
Okay? So now when you find out where they came from,
Right.
then you got to say, oh, I hate that.
That's right. Right.
That's in me. I'm going to work on that. Now, Mr. Farrakhan, let me tell you, the man may have a brown germ, but I ain't seen it.
That's
What I mean is, Mr. Farrakhan has so much love for us and love for the research team. He be talking about how, oh, I am just so honored to have you all working for me. Huh? Honored? I mean, we just, I tell them this, I don't tell them no more, Brother, stop saying that. I said, Brother, I don't know how I got here. The Brother said, stop saying that, man. You're here, so just, do what he asked you to do. I said, okay, so I stopped saying it to them. But I just look at him and say, man, I don't know how I got here. Prophets, we give their left leg and right leg.
Right. Come on.
To be here just to see him.
Right.
Right.
And I get the opportunity to work for him.
Come on.
So the only thing that I'm afraid of is messes up my part that I'm supposed to do for him. That's scary. But brother, he ain't faking what you see.
That's right.
That's right.
He is humble. Just look at what he's saying now about himself, what he said at Savior's Day. Him being a Messiah. There was a brother in the audience who yelled out, I've been waiting 31 years for you to say that you are the Messiah. Why? He couldn't say that because he would lose people. He always would put the Honorable Elijah Muhammad first.
That's right. That's
To
right.
protect his own soul and development.
Yes, sir.
And we have to be like that. everybody knows when the messenger left, the Farrakhan should have took over.
Right.
But he didn't do that. And later on, we learned about why he didn't do that. It was because of his love. Y'all remember the story of Solomon?
Yes, sir.
And these two women came. One claiming that was her baby, and the other claiming, no, that's my baby.
That's right.
So what Solomon did was, okay, give me a sword, and we'll split the baby in two.
Right.
Half go with you, and half go with you. Well, the real mother said, oh, no. That's okay, she can have it.
Right.
And then Solomon knew then that she was the real mother.
Right.
So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, and there was a debate on who's going to be in charge, and they put Wallace in charge, the minister didn't fight.
Right.
He didn't fight. People should thought he should have fought for the position, but he didn't want no bloodshed.
That's right.
That's right.
That's how much he loves us, that he didn't want no bloodshed. Instead, he went off and started the Nation of Islam in the dark by himself.
Right.
Started study groups.
That's right.
That's right.
They didn't even know about each other. Started study groups, and later on, he got them together and had a Savior's Day and realized he had brought the Nation of Islam back up.
That's right.
But he did not want the fight. And then he told his followers, don't fight Muhammad followers.
That's right.
We could have been like the Sunni and the Shia,
Right.
okay? But we don't. We don't know the bloodshed that we were pulled away from and still are being pulled away from. But the minister is so good with blocking death, blocking a bullet, he catch it with his teeth,
Right.
and you don't even know the man that shot at you.
That's right.
The enemy has shot at us so many times,
Good.
as a nation and as a people.
Right.
But we don't know it. The slide, he said the slide. We don't know it because the minister blocks. Now, that's love right there. I ain't got to say nothing. You see that picture? That's love right there.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is not 1975.
Go ahead.
And there are 5 reasons why. And you can find them in the time and what must be done. Now, I'm going to go through them, okay? But then you got to go and look at the time what must be done. I'm going to give you the reference points here so you can go and study that.
Yes, sir.
There are major things that Minister Farrakhan has now proven of the teaching scientifically that we had been taught and believed in as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left and his son Wallace took over, he destroyed our belief and faith in those 5 things that I'm going to show you. But Minister Farrakhan now has proven it scientifically that those very 5 things can be proven now, and therefore they cannot be used against us when he leaves. And one day he gonna leave.
Yes, sir.
But he's given us a foundation by which we can defend ourselves according to the teachings. Because it's the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that this world is afraid of.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Point 1. A major aspect of our teachings was that white people were genetically grafted from black people, starting 6,600 years ago, which Minister Farrakhan covers in part 29 of The Time and What Must Be Done. And in that part, he talks about a March 25 in 2006, the New York Times article on the DNA research of Dr. Jonathan Pritchett and Dr. Richard Klein reported that they discovered a list of selected genes, including 5 that affect skin color. The selected versions of the genes occur solely in Europeans and are responsible for pale skin. This finding of 5 skin genes selected 6,600 years ago implied that Europeans acquired their pale skin much more recently than the previously believed 45,000 years ago. Now those who follow Diop and the Afrocentric people believe that the black folks got isolated up in Russia 45,000 years ago and lost their skin color. Of course, now the Eskimos who've been up there forever ain't lost their skin color yet.
Right.
Okay? We believe that there was a process, we call it a grafting process, that started 6,600 years ago. It took 200 years to take us from black to brown, 200 years to take us from brown to yellow, then another 200 years to take us from yellow to white. So it took us a total of 600 years to transform the black into white. So, but it started, the mutation started 6,600 years ago, which the scientists from the University of Chicago, Dr. Pritchett and Dr. Klein, have found out through their research on DNA specimens from all over the world that something happened exactly 6,600 years ago that turned black people into white people. So we say we can scratch that as a Negro excuse,
Right.
saying that Yakub was a mystery, a mythology. We made it up. Well, then you ask your white master to explain that.
Right.
Okay? Now that's one. Point two, the messenger taught black people to separate from white America and build an independent economic and moral existence. After 1975, Muslims tried to be accepted in America, but 911 wiped that hope out. Wallace began to salute the flag. We wanted to integrate into America after the messenger left. Many of us tried that. I didn't try that because I didn't come into the nation to integrate with white folks.
Right.
Came into the nation to try to build a black nation.
That's right.
Okay? Okay, so y'all don't want to do that? Hey, I'm going to party. I'm not going to play with y'all no more.
Right.
All right? But 911 is the biggest hoax that's been pulled on the world, where they blame 19 Muslims for flying planes into those buildings and bringing those buildings down. The scientists have shown that you cannot bring those buildings down because the heat from the fuel of those jets are not hot enough
Come on,
to
teach 'em.
melt the steel.
Yes.
But when the buildings collapsed, me and my wife, we were sitting right in looking at it on TV. And when we saw the buildings collapse, we say, that was an internal demolition.
That's right.
Then I got a call from the news reporter out of Albany Herald in Albany, Georgia, wanted to come to the farm to interview me and discuss Muhammad Farm. Now, I've been down there since 1995.
Come on.
This is down 2001. I've been down there 6 years. Y'all, it's 1,600 acres. Y'all know damn well the farm is there. Come on now. But no, they didn't come. But here they come. They called me up. I said, okay. So what I did, I went to Books A Million, looked around for a book. I didn't know what I was looking for. But I found a book called Day of Deceit. A guy named Stinnett. And in the book, he talks about how FDR, not only did he know that the Japanese were going to attack, he set them up to attack. He cut off their oil supply, which they didn't have. And if they were in a war, he cut off the oil supply, and then he left the 7th Fleet out there in Hawaii, and he knew that there was going to be attacked because they had broke the codes 8 months in advance. So they knew, they heard exactly what Japan was doing, and they allowed Japan to do it because FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, had promised, as he was trying to be elected, he said we would not get America into another war in Europe. So he couldn't bring him into the Second World War that was already in progress in 1941. Instead, he tricked the Japanese to attack America. And then he used that as the excuse to get into a war. So when the news reporter came out, I took her, to show the farm, answer a question about the farm. Then I knew it was coming. By the way, what do you think about what happened up in New York, the World Trade Center, being brought down? I said, well, ma'am, I don't know. I said, look, you here, Albany, I'm here, the farm. I said, I don't know what's been going on up there. However, I did read in this book that Franklin Delano Roosevelt set up the Japanese by producing a false flag operation, blaming on them for his excuse to go to war with them. Now, I don't know, that's what this guy said in this book. Now, if it was done then, could it be done now? I don't know. Of course, she didn't publish nothing.
Right.
No pictures of the farm, you know, nothing about the farm. She didn't do nothing because she was coming. I knew what she was coming for. See, once you know who you're dealing with,
That's right.
ain't no need of you allowing yourself to be tricked.
That's right.
You should be able to smell it. Okay, here come a trick. Okay, now you shut it down. Now, pull up. So they did that to stop the rise of Islam. Look, 2001 was 6 years after we had brought 2 million men to Washington, D.C.
Right.
2 million men who said Allahu Akbar.
That's right.
Now, you know what the white folks saw? Wait a minute. Them Negroes been playing us. We thought that it's only a few of them Muslims, but now 2 million talk about Allahu Akbar.
Right.
They knew then they had been tricked. Now, when I was there, there was helicopters flying around, and then we prayed, bowed our heads. I said, wait, man, this ain't right. You know, they're just not gonna let this go down like that. There's something that you all didn't know, we didn't find out till later, that underneath the ground of the mall was a military with tanks.
That's right.
And they went to the minister, the military went to the minister and said, if does anything go down, we have a safe route for you to get out.
Yeah.
And the minister turned to his captains, his leaders, and said, if it go down today, I'm going to be the first one out there, and you're going to be the first one hurt if you try to stop me. If my people go down, I'm going down with my people.
That's right.
See, y'all didn't know that. See, that's the type of love
Go ahead.
that Minister Farrakhan has for us.
Yes, sir.
Okay? But nothing went down. They had our agent provocateurs trying to start stuff. Nothing went down. Now, the enemy had left town. Clinton had left town. The House had left town. And the Senate had left town. All of them had left town. Afraid of what was going to happen when those million black men, which turned out to be 2 million, showed up. So they had to sit down and figure something. I didn't want to say nothing at the date when it all was all good and rosy. I didn't want to say nothing, but I said, wait a minute. I said, they're going to sink America with us in it. And now look at America. America is like a third world country.
Right.
Everything is falling apart.
Right.
The money about to collapse.
Come on. Right.
Of the $26 trillion in debt.
Right.
Okay? So it's the good jobs are already left. When you go to the airport, you don't see them cute little white girls in them heels and pumps and them white boys in the suits and briefcases no more. You don't see that no more. Matter of fact, in 2012, fewer white people voted in 2012 for the presidency than they did in 2008.
Right.
White people who got money have already left
Yes.
the country.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
This thing is falling down on top of us.
Yes, it is.
We are going to have to develop a way out because they don't care about killing some poor crackers. Y'all understand about white folk.
Right.
They don't love each other.
Right.
Yeah, they had a 100-year war in Europe, followed up with a 30-year war in Europe. Remember, World War I and World War II, they were white folks
Right.
fighting one another. So, you know, they don't like each other.
Civil War.
Yeah, they don't, the Civil War, but they don't like each other. They don't like themselves.
Right.
Anybody. Now look, somebody tell me, said, Doc, don't go out there in the sun because it'll give you cancer. Doc will stay inside. White folks know going outside in the sunlight, out there at the beach, naked, gonna give them cancer.
Right.
But they can't help it because they don't like their skin.
Right.
Come on now. These people are crazy. You need to get away. They're suicidal, they're homicidal.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
We need to get away. But hey, that's okay. Some Negroes want to stay. Well, guess what? God is looking for a certain type of person.
That's right.
Right.
Everybody who's living is going to die.
Right.
All right? He's trying to pull out from amongst us the foundation for his next new world.
Right.
Right.
So he's not angry with the Negroes who don't want to accept. It's just that they're going to have to take the consequences of their activity and their actions
Right.
while he pull us out.
Right.
Now, what do the Muslims believe? We believe that the offer of integration is hypocritical. It is made by those who are trying to deceive the black people into believing that their 400-year-old open enemies of freedom, justice, and equality are all of a sudden their friends. Furthermore, we believe that such deception is intended to prevent black people from realizing that the time in history has arrived for the separation from the whites of this nation. Now, this was found on the back of Muhammad's speech starting in the 1960s.
Come on. Oh, yeah.
We had a choice in the 60s of going for separation or integration. He warned us, don't fall for this trick.
Right.
We as a people fell for it. Now,
Right.
look at our communities.
Come on.
In the 1960s, we had Market Street.
Right. Right.
We had Ashboro Street. In Winston-Salem, we had Northwest Boulevard. We had Cherry Street. I'm saying we had streets we had black businesses on.
Right.
Okay? And look at us now. We've been gutted.
Good.
No businesses. They run highways right through our central areas for our businesses.
Right.
Now they're taking North Carolina A&T and merging it with University of North Carolina Greensboro. Right now in North Carolina A&T now, they got a white person who's the head of the School of Agriculture, and they don't even have a agricultural economics program that I got my undergraduate and my master's. I warned them about this when I was there, that they're going to take y'all out.
Right.
But they paid some Negroes off not to pay attention.
Yeah.
And now it's happened what I warned them about. But I'm not hurt because I warned them.
Right.
And so I'm just thankful that I was taken out of that and put in a position that I can prove both my knowledge and my faith.
Yes.
And we'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
What the Muslims want? We want our people in America. Remember, this has been there since the 1960s. So when Mr. Farrakhan talking about we want reparations, we want 8 states and all that, he's just not popping something new on you.
Right.
This has been what we have been about ever since. We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land and that the area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. 2 things I want to pull out of this. Right at the end, some Negroes say, well, if y'all can separate from the white man, why y'all talking about him give y'all 20, 25 years? When you get divorced, Negro, somebody gonna clip you for a while too.
Right.
We talking about divorce,
Right.
and like the sister told Eddie in the movie, half Eddie, half. So we ain't asking for half.
Right.
We just asking for 20 to 25 years. You say, well, why don't y'all just go for yourself? We just found out this recently. In the 1958, when the Africans gained their independence, supposedly from the French, they had to sign a document. And in this document, allowed the French to print their money for them after they was free. 85% of the money that they put in the bank, they had to take that money and put it in France's bank.
Right.
And then the only way they could get that money out, they could only get 20% of that money out of the bank, but they had to borrow the money. Why the hell, what?
Right.
You got to borrow your own money? And you say, well, why didn't black leaders allow that? You ever heard of Patrice Lumumba?
Right.
You ever heard of Kwame Ture?
Right.
Upwards, over and over again, they kill people when they go against them. That's what they do.
Right.
And we are so scared, we know that. As a matter of fact, we know that so much. The people trying to say Farrakhan must not be for real because he ain't been killed.
Right.
So we know how they operate.
Right.
And so now that's how they're able to keep control over Africa, but they're still paying them reparations right now to Europe. Not Europe to them, but because they want to be free, now they got to pay Europe. Haiti, under that for 200 years to France. People said, why is Haiti so poor? Because France said, you got to pay us for being free. You took our property, including you and the country. So they had to pay Haiti, and the world backed the French up on that. Haiti had to pay France, and the world backed them up on that.
Right.
And now we got Israel. We give Israel $6, $7, $8 billion a year. For what? What do we do to Israel? The Germans did something to you.
Right.
Why we got to pay you for that?
Right.
And we say, yeah, we want to be supported for 20, 25 years. You know you owe us.
That's right.
Now the other part is, see, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is taught by God. And he's so smart.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he said, we believe that our former slave masters, now hold it, he's slave masters, not the United States of America. This is very careful now. Slave masters. See, it's people, it's families who make money off of us.
Right.
Okay? They own America now. They own the banks.
That's
And
right.
in 1913, they got control of the bank by setting the Federal Reserve System. At the time, we owed $2.8 billion. Now we own $26 trillion because of borrowing money from these international bankers in the Federal Reserve that you think belongs to the federal government that don't.
Right.
So if you go after the federal government to give us cash reparations, all they go do is the Federal Reserve is go print it on another one of these notes. If you take your money out and look, it's a Federal Reserve note.
Right.
You got a note on your house,
Right.
you got a note on your car.
Right.
That note is you indebted.
Right.
So that money you got, that's just a proof of indebtedness
Yeah.
Right.
that you owe to the Federal Reserve. They're just loaning you that money, but you owe them that money. And one day you will pay. When we're at the top in terms of population, if we take over, guess what? Everybody gonna come now and say they want their money.
Right.
But we're not gonna have enough money to pay off the military to fight for us.
Right.
They're setting us up to be taken over by the international. They got private armies now controlled by the bankers that are bigger than the United States Army and Navy and Air Force. They get all of our surplus stuff that's still good, and they got it in their arsenal, setting us up to be taken over once we get in charge. We need to separate.
Right.
Let them have the debt. Then we need to go to the white boys and say, look, white boy, the Jews took your money. Started in 1913.
That's right.
We got the names of those families.
Right.
You need to get with us and we go get our damn money.
Right.
We gonna get the money. We split it.
Right.
Then we get 8 states and you keep the other 42. And then we do trade and live happily ever after separately.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you can get along with people after you done separated.
Come on.
Better than you could in that relationship.
Right.
Okay? I bet we. But sometimes you know you got to get out. Okay? So we're saying get out of that.
Get out.
Let them have that debt.
That's right.
Let them deal with it and say, okay, look, we work together, we go get the money from who got the money.
Right.
We ain't got nothing but a note. They got the gold.
Right.
We ain't got no gold in America no more. They took all that.
Right.
Okay? All right. Stick with me, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Now, point number 3. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught his followers that we did not have to carry weapons because our God had a man-made wheel, a half-mile by a half-mile, that could destroy America in 12 hours if she attacked him and the Nation of Islam. This is what got me, another thing that got me into the nation after 4 years of being confused by Malcolm, me becoming this revolutionary, okay, but still confused. Then when I got back to my mind right, I'm ready to go fight white folks. But all these Negroes talking about revolution, they ain't had no guns, they ain't had no bullets, they ain't had no farmland, and they didn't have no bean bag. I was in New York City, going to Columbia University, and I was eating 2 6-inch bean pies per day. I was strung out. So I said, hell, Elijah Muhammad got farmland, and he got a bean pie.
Right.
Okay, so he can at least feed his army bean pies. Of course, they can go to the restroom a whole lot. You get somebody some coffee and a bean pie, if they still starting up, shoot them, because they ain't coming back. So anyway, he had all praise to the Lord. So he had this bean pie. And then he said that I used to stay up all night at Columbia University trying to figure out ways to kill white folks. I couldn't figure out a way to kill enough of them before I got killed. And so Muhammad Elijah Muhammad said he got a plane, his man got a plane that could kill him in 12 hours. I think I'll try something. So I joined up. Because I can't do it. But now, I'm not even interested in that now because I'm going to drop a little hint on y'all. Y'all see that over his head on left over there?
Yes,
when
sir.
the wheels, they're here to protect us as we separate and build.
Right.
You hear what I said?
Yes, sir.
Right.
But we can't get the protection if we ain't separated.
Right.
Then once we're separated and we start an economy, then and start manufacturing something and trading with one another, then Master Farad Muhammad can bring us the technology off the wheel and give us a few of those things that we can build,
Right.
and then sell to the rest of the world and become rich.
Right.
I ain't gonna say that again.
Right.
If you didn't get it, you just didn't get it.
Right.
That's okay. It's everybody. So you gotta prove something to him.
Right.
Okay? You know, I heard Brother Terrence said about, all the people getting shot down. And black folks say, when your God gonna do something? Well, he already done something. You just don't know it. I'll give you an example.
Right.
In 2014, after they killed Mike Brown, they killed him August 9th. August 17th, or August 16th, that Saturday night, they rolled up into Ferguson with the military, the tanks, and the tear gas. The next day, Minister Farrakhan was scheduled to do a press conference at the mosque. He was going to talk about what was going on in Palestine, in Gaza, and how the Jews were killing the Palestinians. But because of Mike Brown's situation and then roll it up, the minister had to change part of his lecture to deal with that. He said, what you all did last night in Ferguson, I know that you are planning to do that across America in the black communities. But if you bring them tanks up into Chicago,
He said,
me and my white brother, Father Flager, going to go out in front of the tanks.
Right.
And I was there, and when he said it, I jumped up and said, checkmate. I said that down quickly. Because I didn't want to be escorted out.
Right.
But when he said that, I said, boom, checkmate. Okay, so if Farrakhan goes out in front of the tanks, they can't shoot him down because the whole world gonna be looking.
right.
Now, ain't gonna be no room, ain't much room to be for the baby plane to shoot Farrakhan down. Ain't gonna be much room to fight. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
FOI, MGT,
Come on.
baby MGT.
Right? Bottles.
Okay, it's gonna be on. Right?
Right.
So they couldn't do that. And the history, 1972, when they rolled up in the Temple number 7, the police, with the guns out, they got beat down, one of them got killed. Then they got sent for backup. When they sent for backup, they came, and the community came, 10,000 surrounded them, surrounding us.
Right.
And then Farrakhan came out and said, I want the police, the white police, out of Harlem by midnight.
Right.
Right.
And by midnight, they was all gone.
Right, right.
And they got that history. And you got to know that history. Because they responded based on reality.
Right.
It's oh hell.
That's right.
Not only is he going to stand in front of the tanks, he's going to go to the tanks and tell the tanks to get out.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Now you got this black man with his white brother in front of the tanks and telling the tanks to get out, and the tanks start backing up.
Right.
That is not good PR.
Right.
Right, 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 right.
Because America got everybody scared of him. And he is one black man with his white brother go walk in front and tell them to get out, and they're going to back up. Do you know what type of PR that will be? Terrible PR for America.
Right, right.
That's why I jumped up and said checkmate.
Right, right.
Because they had militarized all the police force. They had them trained by the Israelis. Your brother Amon down there in Durham, they blocked the ADL from coming in there and training, having Israel to train the police force in Durham.
Right, right, right.
They were planning to gun us down the way they gunned down the Palestinians.
Right, right.
You got police with body armor and all this other type of stuff. This is about war against us.
Yes,
So
sir.
Farrakhan stopped a blood. Then, as he's developing for 10, 15, he said, I want 10,000 black men, fearless black men. Now, when he said that, the media said, uh-oh, he wants 10,000 black men to kill white folks. He didn't say that.
No,
Right,
he
right,
didn't. No, he didn't.
He just said, I want 10,000 fearless black men.
That's right.
Now, if y'all know anything about, what's happening with the schoolyard, all you do is somebody yell, fight, everybody gonna run over to the fight. Fight!
Right, right.
So here this Farrakhan said, I want 10,000 black men.
Right, right.
And the news media said he wanted 10,000 black men to kill white folks. Then all the young people who's out there in the streets fighting had to back up and look at this fight. They said, whoa, what's going to happen? And so what happened was they waited on Farrakhan to give them instructions at 10, 10, 15, and he gave them instructions not to go out and get yourself killed, but to boycott
Right,
Christmas.
right, right.
Okay?
Right.
And so now we are not paying attention, so we didn't see the effect of what Mr. Farrakhan was doing to save our lives at the same time to bring down America's economy.
Right, right, right.
Y'all didn't see it, y'all missed it.
Right, right,
Okay?
right.
But I'm a scientist. That's what I do. I keep up. I study, I watch everything, does the thing. Watch everything, I watch things too much. I can't look at TV with her. No, that don't make no sense. That ain't-
Right, right, right.
Okay,
right.
anyway.
Right, right, right.
Now look, on the right is what the Navy pilots saw. This plane, they saw it about 25,000 feet. They said that it can go from 0 to 30,000 feet in 0.78 seconds. Now you know that defies all the laws of gravity.
That's right.
Now this was made in 1929 and 1,500 baby planes. This is one of the baby planes. Now this is 1940. This is all they got in 1940. They got some faster ones now, but that's all they had in 1940. Would that been a fair fight? It ain't a fair fight now.
No, no, sir.
That's why the Air Force pilots are committing suicide. Yes, 78 so far this year. What did they see to break them down to the point of suicide? Suicide is when you feel hopeless. There's nothing else you can do. These men think they are top gun. They think they are riding in the best thing in the world in terms of destruction and power. They think they got the fastest, the most maneuverable, they think that they're God of the air.
Right, right.
And they sitting up there, and these planes shoot past them like they're in a Ferris wheel. You know how slow a Ferris wheel is?
Right.
These things shoot past them and turn around and come back and shoot past them again, go up and down. He said they're doing that for 12 hours. They had to go down, send somebody back up, and they still up there playing around. Our baby planes up there playing around. Now what the military men should do, and probably some of them have already suggested that, and some of them maybe not die from suicide, but killed, because what I would do is I would say go to your commander and ask them to ask Farrakhan who the hell is them people and what do they want.
Right.
Because we know we can't handle that.
Right.
So either they commit suicide or they're being killed because they want to go public to let the world know we got to talk to Farrakhan because something ain't right here.
Right.
That defies, these guys are not just some, go-kart, they're not, James Petty, the race car drivers, man. Look, they flying these jets and they know about physics and dynamics. They know what can be done and what cannot be done underneath the reality of what they understand. But these things do stuff that completely defies the laws of gravity.
Right.
Because the G-force in a body that can go from 0 to 30,000 feet in 78 seconds, you would be nothing but a puddle on the floor.
Right.
You would be a puddle on the floor.
All right now.
And you won't come back together again. Okay? So when they seeing this, they know something ain't right.
Right.
And they're going to their commanders, and the commanders are telling them, don't worry about it. What the hell you talking about, don't worry about it? Our job is to worry about stuff like that. So there's something going on. And so you say, well, if our plane is so powerful, then why don't they just destroy the pilots? Well, if we destroyed their plane and the pilots, we could have got that picture right there.
Right.
See, if y'all seen when animals get ready to fight, they start flexing. You look at the nature shows, they start flexing how powerful they are first. They first want the other person to back down.
Right.
Especially if they're fighting over a woman. They want to back down. They don't really want to fight because you might get hurt. 12:45.
Right.
Okay, let's go. Anyway, so Allah is showing the power that He has. Okay, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Allah will not allow their aircraft to get up for the fight.
Right.
If you ain't got no pilots, you ain't getting up. See, we look at one book. Okay? That's why I just have patience with Allah who came in the person of Master Farrakhan. He got us this far so far. Just have patience. He got another plan. I don't know his plan. Okay? I just know whatever he want to do, I want to be on the right side of his plan. Okay? I don't want to be on the wrong side. I want to be on the right side of his plan. Because look, we're taught that he's going to live for at least 400 years.
Right.
He got a long-term plan. We got a short-term plan because we're not eating right. Or we done messed up our lives so much that even when we eat right, we know we ain't going to make it no more than about 70, 80 years.
Thank you, sir.
So, we're looking for, we want to have our money, get hold of friendship, all walks of life right now.
Right now.
You know, right now. I want to enjoy this thing right now. Okay? But, I wanted that. But then, I do some things, I've learned, now this is more important because what? We are going to be the root, the base of a pyramid that's going to build a world that's going to last forever. And in the future, people are going to read in their textbook about us.
Right.
And we did this just based on faith.
Right.
Of course, when the planes show up and start destroying things, everybody go bow down.
Right.
Oh yeah, Master Farrakhan. They're gonna kill me. Yeah.
Right.
You don't need that for the base. They can come in later.
That's right.
But for the base, he needs the ones who's going to believe in the unseen.
Right. That's right.
Not the unreal,
That's right.
just the unseen. Because if you are not afraid of the white man, and if you are willing to deal with your own brown germ, then you come over here with he'll be place you right here because you're the foundation for what I'm trying to do next.
Yes, sir.
Those are our own people who survive it. Okay, we can bring them in later. All praise is due to Allah underneath us. Okay, leave your gold teeth right there. But our position would be at the leadership position. Now, before we was brought over here, we knew our positions
Right.
in our different tribes. Whether you was in the royal, or whether you was in the Masonic, the Masons, the builders, whether you was a fisherman, everybody knew their place.
Right.
When they messed all that up when they brought us over here, mixed us all up, producing niggas, right? So now, who can claim leadership based on lineage?
Right.
You can't claim leadership based on lineage. Look at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's own son from his loins
That's right.
that brought the nation down.
That's right.
You can't depend on blood.
Right.
You must depend on spirit.
Yes, sir.
Right.
The Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan told me that his job is to produce the body of Christ. And the spiritual links are more powerful than the blood links.
Right.
So he's trying to find the people of the right spirit to be the body of Christ, to be the base. Okay? And then he can leave once he has put Christ in us.
Go ahead.
The way Christ has been put in him, he's trying to put Christ in us, so we have to let Christ in
Let him in.
so that Mr. Farrakhan can be, we can, thank you, sir. See, tell us giving him money and stuff is good, but he wants to see Christ formed in us.
Yes.
He wants to see us to love one another the way he loves us.
Yes.
Right.
You loving him is good, but do you love each other? That's hard. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. Point number 4. Point 12 of what the Muslims believe reads, we believe that Allah, God, appeared in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, July 1930, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims. Now, before I read the rest of that, go back up here. It says Messiah and Mahdi. The Son of Man. That's what they say in the Bible, right?
Right.
Well, the Son of Man ain't a spook. You might want to say Jesus was a spook because he wasn't the Son of Man. He was the Son of Mary, but he wasn't the Son of Man. But now this one coming now is going to be the Son of Man.
Right.
So he ain't going to be a spook. The Mahdi is a man. The Jews don't believe that Jesus was the Messiah, but they're looking for a man.
That's right.
Right.
We in the Nation of Islam, we catch hell because we're not waiting no more.
Come on now.
We believe that the one everybody been waiting on showed up in 1930.
Yes.
So now we are trying to follow the instructions and to set up God's kingdom on earth, not waiting for another.
Right.
So everybody else is waiting on a man, but we say he already came.
Right.
So don't you run back from your faith
Come on, sir.
Don't.
because you're catching hell.
Come on, sir.
Guess what?
Yeah.
The Negroes are catching hell too. They're catching hell without a clue. They're catching hell without a clue. They don't know what's going on. At least we have an idea.
Right.
So to me, that's good enough to just have an idea of what's going on. Because they don't have a clue and they're catching hell, don't know what to do with themselves. He, Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, will create, this comes from, I'll say it as a right. He, Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, will create a new heaven and a new earth and a new Islam.
Right.
And new government and people. The new earth referred to is a new people who will change the old into such a great future that actually the earth will look like a new earth and a new earth will be made here in what we call America. This is from, I would say there's a right, page 110. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, now, you know, wait a minute, I thought America was going to burn. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I told you I something earlier. I'm not, just relax. Just relax. What has the earth of America done to the world? Nothing. It's just the crackers that's in it. If the crackers that's in it leave, then why burn it up? And if we take the cracker out of us when he leaves with his cracker, we give our cracker to that cracker, take the brown germ out. Why burn the planet up? Why tear up the bridges and you know, they ain't done nothing wrong in the cropland. No, this is our promised land.
Yes, sir.
But we have to run the giants out, but it has to be done in such a smooth way
Yes.
that you don't get a whole lot of our people killed.
Yes, sir.
And you don't destroy the infrastructure. Right now the Chinese is buying everything, but guess what? The Chinese got the money and the technology to keep the infrastructure going until we ready.
That's right. Come on.
You know what I just said? Marines show up and tell the Chinese that we want 8 states, the Chinese will say, okay, you get 8, can we keep the other 42? Yeah, you can keep the other 42. Just give us our 8.
Right.
Right.
I think they'll go for it.
Yes, sir.
They ain't got no, they ain't got no blood in the game. You know what I mean? The white man and the Jew, they just cannot give it to you because you are their slave. They made you into a nigger.
Right, 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 right.
And the idea that you're going to come up and now you're going to rule over this part of the earth that you built for yourself, and now you're going to build it and make a heaven for yourself, and I can't be a part of it, and I can't make you a slave no more. I can't live with that.
No.
Right.
So they'd rather kill you and themselves.
Right.
Okay? But the Chinese, they ain't got that much skin in the game.
Right.
So I'm looking at this because Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we will come back in power opposite in the direction by which they was made. Black to brown, brown to yellow, yellow to white. We'll come back in power in the opposite direction for which how they were made. So that means it's white on top, then it'll be the yellow, then it'll be the brown, then it'll be the black. There will be stages of us getting back on top.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's
Right,
okay.
right.
Because the yellow people have technology that's overwhelmed the West. That's why they're ahead right now. And some Chinese claim, we've seen what Mr. Farrakhan gave us writings from the Chinese, they said that they're in contact with people on the wheel. And that's where they say they're getting some of their technology from. I don't know, I'm just saying what they say. We do know over the last 30 years the Chinese have far past the West in a short period of time.
Right, right, right.
Where did they come from? I believe it was Master Farad Muhammad teaching them so he could take over the West and not take over America. See, he does things in stages.
Right.
We want to do things in magic. We think God is like, snap. No, he uses science and nature and the nature of people.
Right, right.
The white man is greedy.
Right.
Right, right.
Chinese got all their money. Chinese got the white man's money.
Right.
Right, right, right.
Nobody wants the white man's money, America's money, no more,
Right.
Right.
except America. So the Chinese say, I give you back your money, give me some land. That's okay, cool. They gonna take the land, the money, and run it by islands, and, go other places. They gonna live large. Well, fine, all praise due to Allah. All we want is ours. Because once you all white folks see what we have built, then that's gonna kill you.
Right, right,
That's gonna
right.
brush their heart when they see what we done built. What they could have done but didn't do. And now the nigga done done it.
Right, right.
It's gonna bust their heart.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I wanna bust their heart. I don't wanna just kill them. That ain't good enough. I wanna bust their heart and they kill themselves.
Right, right.
Like the airplane pilots do. Now, point number 5. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the so-called Jews are not God's chosen people and have not received the promise given by God to Abraham in Genesis 15, 13 and 14. And in that promise it says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. Who fulfilled this promise? We say it was from 1555 to 1955. They say, the Negroes and the white folks, it was 1619. And now we in 400 years is 2019. But we know there was 64 years that was hidden. And the reason that it was hidden, in 1470, the Portuguese Jews found an island off the coast of the Congo, 250 miles out. They took over that island, went into the Congo and different parts of Africa, stealing black girls, which they're still doing now. Stealing black girls, bringing them back to the islands, raping them, producing half-breeds, and then teaching those half-breeds that they was Portuguese. We're taught that the enemy sent traitors amongst us. They came back as traitors, T-R-D-R, but they also were traitors.
Right.
Okay? Our people accepted them as being lost family. Didn't know that these people were trained to start causing trouble amongst them and then sell them guns and alcohol to start wars. And then through the wars, get people to bring back to the islands to be made slaves. We didn't know that. And I got that information about Sao Tome from a Jewish writer. See, Jews were telling each other.
That's right.
Anyway, so you say, well, Africans sold us into slavery. No, it was half African. Half African, Afro-Portuguese.
Right.
Jews.
Right.
Half-breed Jews who were sent by the Portuguese Jews to trick us into fighting and killing one another so they could come and get us as slaves. Then when they brought us over here in 1555, when they brought us over here to Jamestown, I believe, based on my research, that there was an insurrection. And they killed all the white folks and went off into an area called the Dismal Swamp. It's right outside of Jamestown. Because they got histories of these people from African descent who has established little colonies in the Dismal Swamp.
Right.
Before
Right.
Jamestown of 1619 was founded. So, and they live also with the Native Americans. You know about, there's another one out of North Carolina that was wiped out. What was that called? They didn't know what happened to those people. Sir Walter Raleigh's group.
Right.
So they don't like to tell you when they failed. So when they failed in Jamestown, then they brought us to the islands to do the same thing they did over here, Sao Tome. They would take the Africans and produce children from those Africans and teach those children that they had been slaves forever. As a matter of fact, we saved you, your parents, from the jungle. They're just running around with bones in their nose, swinging on trees.
Right.
Then, after they had done this over and over again, to 64 years, they had made this creature that was completely docile to them. Then they set up Jamestown. But I believe that they set it up first because we as a research team, we were doing a lot of reading, a lot of studying. And you can look at these little lines. And when you see that there was a history of some blacks in the Dismal Swamp that were there before Jamestown, I said, okay, that's it. We killed them white folks, went into to the swamps, and then they come back with a new breed of Negroes that they had made, but they realized they could not bring a straight African from Africa into America. They would hook up with the Native Americans and get away. Now, Savings Day gift of 1955. This is what was given to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I don't know how the white man slept this. I don't know how the Jews slept this. It's right there in Revelation 19 and 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire. On his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. What is Farrakhan? Ain't nobody heard of no Farrakhan before. Matter of fact, Farrakhan didn't even know what his name meant. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I'm going to tell you what it means. It's a new attribute of Allah. It's a good name. I got it upstairs somewhere, and I'm going to give it to you. And Mr. Farrakhan, talking about love and trust, Mr. Farrakhan never asked the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what did it mean?
Right.
Now Mr. Farrakhan is finding out what it means and teaching us that what it means is you got to study Farrakhan because Farrakhan is what it means.
Right.
What?
Right.
That's double talk about it, Richard.
Right.
No, it's a new attribute. Now, when you study Farrakhan, his demeanor,
Right.
his ways,
Right.
his wisdom, his talent, his love, his smarts, when you study how he operates under circumstances, with wisdom he operates under. One time I told the minister, I said, Brother Minister, you should not be evaluated as an orator. You should be evaluated as a general because of the moves you make. He said, well, brother, I can't take credit for that. I am guided by Allah and His Christ. I felt like 2 cents. I should have known that. Okay? He's that humble. But he, I'll go to the next slide. More from Revelations. Now I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he who sat on him was called Faithful and True. Who has been more faithful and true than Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And his righteousness he judges and makes war. 12 eyes were like a flame of fire. That's what we read before. And on his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no one knew except himself. He was clothed with a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. Yes, sir. And the armies in heaven, clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. Now out of his mouth goes a sharp sword. Now, we know now that Mr. Farrakhan's tongue is a sharp sword.
Right.
Right.
He fights the world and the enemy with his tongue, just with the words.
Right.
He don't send us out to nobody to beat him up. He just teaches from his word and he breaks the enemy down.
Right.
So much so that the enemy is leaving his own town. He's leaving America.
That's right.
That with it he should strike the nations, and he himself will rule them with a rod of iron. He himself treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God, and he has on his robe and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Right.
Eventually, they're going to bow to Farrakhan.
That's right.
Eventually, they're going to bow to Farrakhan. The leaders are going to bow to Farrakhan.
Right.
But we have our job to do, because are we ready to handle that?
Go ahead.
Right.
Because
right.
every person that you have met since you've been awakened is a lesson for you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to run into that same type in the future when you have money and power.
Right.
And when you see that person coming, you're going to know who that person is. And you're going to know how to handle it. Because you've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the training right now
That's right.
of how to deal with people, how to read them, how to get to do what you want them to do without killing them.
Right.
You're learning wisdom
Right.
because you're not allowed to fight. You're not allowed to kill your brother and sister. In the old world, they have coup after coup. Even in the Muslim world, they kill people. It started with Ali back in the day, after Prophet Muhammad left. They've been doing it ever since. We can't do that in the Nation of Islam.
Right.
You know, I've been wanting to smack you, but I can't do that.
Right.
Because I know I'm going to get smacked down. Right? So I had to figure out a way to deal with you wisely.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because I can't fight you.
Right.
All right? So this is training, because you're going to run into that same type
Right.
in the future. And when you see it, you're going to know what you're looking at. It's okay. Plan B. Okay. Now, works of the Messiah. We're going to have to close out. That's not funny. Anyway, I want to get down to the last part. And inform you of what you should eat and what you should store in your houses.
There we go.
Now, Jesus didn't do that, and Prophet Muhammad didn't do that.
Right.
So they had the Messiah. Only Honorable Elijah Muhammad is doing that. Farming is the engine of our national life. Now I want you to look at this picture. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. He's on the right over there. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the right. Look at that. Look at that. Now this is what Kente cloth?
Yes, sir.
That's nothing but agricultural lands. That's why it is the royal cloth.
Wow.
Because that's the responsibility of leadership, is to make sure the people are fed. So when you get your fields laid out, you will have different crops growing at different stages, and therefore they will have different colors. Then you will have the blue in there, that's the water to irrigate them. So this here is the royal cloth, because the responsibility of the king and the family is to make sure everybody gets fed.
Right.
All praise be to God. Agriculture is the root of civilization. Again, from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Mapping, geometry, engineering, manufacturing. You ever heard of a bean counter?
Yes, sir.
A bean counter, that's what? An accountant, right? It's an accountant.
Well, they use beans on
On the road, the Chinese do, right? Right. Because they got to count the beans that grow so that the people will have enough to eat. In other words, you got to share the crop. You got to know how much you produce. You got to know how many people you got, and then you got to figure out how you're going to get the beans to the people without running out of beans. So you don't run out of beans before you get to the people. Chemistry. The word Kemet means black. That's the name of ancient Egypt, Kemet. When they found us, the Arabs found us on the Nile Valley, they called the science that we were doing chemistry. It's the science of the blacks. So chemistry is named after us. Then you got millwright. A millwright is a person who can fix anything. You got astronomy. Now, when they enslaved us over here, this is from an 1857 estate sale. And in that little small, in a circle there, I've highlighted up here, among which are valuable carpenters, millwrights, engineers, coopers, mill hands, blacksmiths, boat hands, and house servants. Where did we learn engineering from? Not them. Why I say not them? Because at the time, 1857, there was only one school in America that taught engineering. That was a military academy at Annapolis. They didn't have your land grant systems set up until after 1862, and the South pulled out because the North tried to set up land grants, but the South would always vote against it. When they separated, when they pulled out, then they voted to have the land grants. Then that's when they started teaching agriculture and engineering. They didn't have to have agriculture and engineering. They didn't have to have nothing but a gun and a whip.
Right.
And then make us teach our children.
Right.
And then once they built the White House, once they built the Capitol, they kill us and lie about it and claim they did it.
Right.
That's how Rome did their thing too. Rome stole us from Africa, made us build for them, and they killed us, and they said that they did it. Okay. When we got out of slavery, in 45 years, we bought 16 million acres of land.
Right.
We own 40% to 50% of the land in Louisiana, Alabama, and Georgia. In Mississippi, we own 60% and over, and in South Carolina, 50 to 60%. So that means in them 5 states, we own over 40% of the farms by 1910. So in terms of reparations, we just want back what we had already bought. And then do the U.S. Department of Agriculture lynching and killing, you took it from us. Let's go. See, they started this lynching thing 1870, 1880. You see that? That bottom, that's lynching. Okay, I've been, the green one is lynching. The bottom one is inventions.
Right.
So we started to invent. We started to buy land. The blue is the land. Then they started lynching us until they broke us. And they didn't stop lynching us until 1930.
Right.
The law was never passed to stop lynching us. What's made them quit? They're doing it now, but not like they was doing it before. They was killing a black person every 3 days and putting it in all the newspapers. And having people come out in advance to come and see it.
Right.
They cut that out. They know something that we trying to tell you. So they've been tricking us ever since to get us to stay with them. As a matter of fact, when they found out about the planes and what the planes were going to do after 1942, when they picked up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and took our studies and saw what he was teaching us, then they decided to bring us to the cities as hostages. And so from 1910 to 1960s, we left the South, left our land, and went to the cities. We didn't know that there was a plan laid out in 1962. I didn't know until I was studying to find this. There's a document called the Adaptive Approach by the Committee for Economic Development in 1962. It said net migration out of agriculture has been going on for 40 years and at a rapid rate. Nevertheless, the movement of people from agriculture has not been fast enough. This adaptive approach recommended that 1, vocational agriculture courses in rural areas be scrapped. Now they've scrapped all vocational courses. They're trying to get them back now, but they scrapped them all. Farm children be given college scholarships to study anything but agriculture.
Right.
Now that's the most wicked thing you could ever look at. You're going to take a farm child, give them a scholarship to go to college, to teach them something that they can't use on the farm so they will never come back.
Right.
That's wicked.
That is.
Agriculture prices be substantially lower. Wait a minute. How can you have a plan to lower agricultural prices? We're supposedly in a free economy of what? Supply and demand. A market economy of supply and demand. But right now you're saying agricultural prices be substantially lowered. and temporary income programs be instituted to protect the most suitable for survival.
Right.
So who do you think was suitable for survival? The black farmers?
Mm.
So they did the same thing to us that Joseph did to us according to their own book. This is in the Bible. It's been sitting there all along. But we slept it. Genesis 47, 20-23. And Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. Number one, if you're the king of Egypt, you already own the land and the people. Nobody needed to come from outside and buy it for you.
Right.
Well, the Egyptians sold every man his field because the famine fell over them, so the land became Pharaoh. And Pharaoh was not an indigenous king of Africa. He had to be a usurper from the outside because he would have already owned the land if he was a king. And as for the people, he removed them to the cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end. They took them off their land and put them in the cities.
Right.
There's a group called the Hyksos who came in and took us over and took our land and put us in the cities and made them slaves.
Right.
Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned them by Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their land. The priests were Uncle Tom's. The priests sold us out.
Right.
See, the real story, the 7-year famine, the real story was the Djoser, who was the king 6,000 years ago in Imhotep. They had a 7-year famine. And Imhotep found out that the problem was the water. And the water was being held from coming up underground by the priesthood at Elephantine. So the priesthood at Elephantine said, okay, we're going to give you the key and tell you where to use it at if you give us 12 tracts of land. Now see, that 12 tracts of land to the priesthood, that's how they got the land, because it was first owned by the king. But now they put it, now they come up with they story, when they rewrite the Bible, they switch it around. But they tell you in there, a hint is what was going on. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. If he bought you and the land, then what have you made you? A slave.
Right.
So they're telling you that that's what they did, but you don't see it because you're blind, you can't figure it out. But they made it look like that the priests had a portion assigned them. No, the priests were given some land because they were trying to strangle the nation for water. And it's the priests today, come on, the preachers today who are the worst enemies of the rise of our people. Because they've been given some FBI money. Faith-based emission.
Right.
FBI money. Okay? To keep you in check. And if they don't do right, then they'll come right back and do an audit and claim that they didn't use the money properly. They call it misappropriation of funds and put them in jail. So he got them all like that.
Right.
So you know the crooks in Ham. Okay. Now who is suited for survival? I'm not going to read you this whole thing, but there was a scenario. I'll show you the pieces of it. So Mr. Farrakhan launched the Muhammad Economic Blueprint October 2013. Glenn Beck's website on December 9, 2013 claimed that Mr. Farrakhan was milking the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The 3 Economic Savings Program Incorporated, Muhammad Farmer received $108,000 from 1995 to 2012, a 70-year period average of $6,317. However, the top recipient in Terrell County, Wilber Gamble, received a total of $4,283,000. In fact, there were 20 farms in Terrell County that received over $1 million and 57 farms that received over $500,000. All was white, and because of them putting it on the minister, we gave back the $41,000 that money to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Now, here we are. These are the farms that got money from the USDA from 1995 to 2012. The farms in Terrell County, Georgia. Here's the Gamble. He has 2 farms. One of them he got for $4 million, another he got $2 million out of it for the government. Wilber Gamble used the former head of the county commissioners. Now, we right down here, we are 146 out We 146 on the list of farms just in Terrell County who got money from the government. We down at 146, but that's the one they picked on. So we can't get the government money that we were supposed to get.
Right.
Now, I'm working with the black farmers against the government because they didn't get the black farmers the subsidies. I figured out how to get the subsidies for the 3 Economic Savings Program, but then Glenn Beck go blast it, so we can't get that. We have to get the money back. Okay? So when Minister Wood said we need help, we need help. Because we can't even get help from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Okay? Because they got, this morning, we was at the hotel getting coffee. I never seen this before in my life. There were 8 televisions in the breakfast room. 8. All of them on different channels. See, that's how much media control over your mind they got. We can't get a word in edgewise to you.
Right, right.
So when they
right.
put that out that the minister is milking the government, the minister said just shut it down. Because our people are going to run with that. And our enemies are going to run with that. So I had to suffer behind that. And so, in a 10-year period, white farmers got $1,000 per acre, black farmers got $274 per acre. Therefore, the white farmers could buy the black farmers out. Well, let me show you this last little thing. On the left is the farm, is the watermelons in 2018. On the right, this is at Muhammad Farms. Can you see the watermelons over there on the right? Because last year, in 2018, storms for a 2-week period. And this is a screenshot of the weather map on May 29th and May 30th. But for a 2-week period, from May about 22nd on into June, every day we saw this pattern where it looked like it was a fire burning down in Cuba. Well, that's not a fire, that is the rain from the radar. And the red is the very heavy rain, right? The yellow didn't rain. So this, and that rain would go up Florida all the way into Georgia. This happened for 2 weeks. And I knew that was the hand of Allah, not Farad Muhammad. I knew that was unusual. So I kept track of it. This year, at the exact same time, it didn't do that. Instead of rain, we got 100-degree heat.
Right.
5 to 6 days in a row. It will cool off a little bit, another 5 or 6 days in a row. A farmer measured the soil in his farm in May. The soil temperature was 128 degrees in May.
Wow.
The soil temperature. He tried to plant peanuts, the peanut seeds burned up. He tried to plant soybeans, the soybean seed burned up. He had an irrigation system, circular pivot irrigation system. But by the time the irrigation system went all the way around, this was dust. So he could never keep up with the dust, with the heat, with the soil burning up. So he lost his crop. Now he white, he'll go, they'll give him a check because he's white from the insurance company.
Right, right.
Okay?
Right.
So the minister's trying to warn us about something. Now y'all remember that, okay, right now when you look at TV, you're going to see these advertisements to come into the litigation against Roundup. Y'all seen that?
It's on the
Yes,
radio.
sir.
Huh?
It's on the radio.
Radio and TV, both of them. Okay? What is going on? They are sacrificing Monsanto. This is the brother who got, first it said $258 million. Now they brought it down to $78 million settlement. Why did they put his face out there? Bayer bought Monsanto right before Monsanto started getting sued. Bayer is in Germany. Monsanto has been able to sell products in Germany for 2 years. Matter of fact, nowhere in Europe could they sell their GMOs for the past, no Roundup, for 2 years. Why would Bayer buy that company? They knew something, but they was planning something. Bayer has come up with a new technique. It's called DNA chips and RNA interference, where they can interfere with the reductive process of the seed So when the seed grows into a plant, the plant will grow a protein that will kill sperm. So cancer is too messy. It's too quick. When you start destroying the sperm, the man is still going to be able to ejaculate. And the women and the man, they can still have fun. But you're going to find out after years, it's not that she's infertile. His sperm got no juice. By the time you find out about it, it's going to be too late.
Right.
See, they're talking about killing people by the billions.
Right.
Last year, they broke into wheat. They know the DNA of wheat. They can break into the genome of wheat and place something in wheat. They couldn't do that last year. They could do the corn, they could do the soybean, they could do the tomatoes, they could do the rice. They had all them down, but they couldn't get in the wheat. Now they got in the wheat. That means all the grains. When Bayer bought Monsanto, Monsanto had bought up a bunch of seed companies and varieties. Now Bayer has all of them. When they put this on the market, it's going to say that it's non-GMO. Because the government is going to allow them to say that it's non-GMO, even though it is. And they're going to say that you're not going to even need chemicals no more. Because they got a whole new set. And they're going to get them classified in a manner that they're going to get away with it. And because Monsanto, when Monsanto goes down, Roundup goes down, there's going to be a famine. They're going to blame it on that black man. Then they'll come back as a savior with all the new products. However, Master Farad Muhammad, in my opinion, one thing he has done is those floods out there in the Midwest.
Right.
Y'all know about them floods out in the Midwest.
Right.
The farmers in the Midwest, only 40 to 50% of the farmers were able to plant corn and soybeans. In the Mississippi Delta, the farmers couldn't plant this year and will not be able to plant next year. Because the flood in the Mississippi Delta was worse than it was in 1927, which is the reason why they built the levees. But this flood has overrun those levees and has flooded out so bad that they will not even be able to plant next year. So Allah is going to kill a lot of people. And he's going to take credit for it. Climate change. Okay? It's climate change. And so who caused the climate? Master Farad Muhammad is. We've been told that he's doing that. Eventually they're going to believe us as they see the ice caps melting, as they see the sea rising, as they see the weather patterns, so you don't have a summer, you don't have a winter, you have a summer and a winter with no fall and no spring. Somebody asked me, the Minister of Agriculture, I need to change the dates on the planting dates that I have on my information I sent. I said, I'm not going to change the dates because I don't know what's going on. If I give them new dates, then they lose their crop because they're planting too late. If you plant too late, then when your crop comes up, and then if there's no fall, it goes straight to winter, then the winter kills the crop, then the people will say, I told them to plant too late. So I ain't tell you nothing, because I don't know what to tell you on that. This is new. I've been trying to warn people that life on this planet is this damn skin. That's small, it's that thin. Okay? A little imbalance. We just flipped off. We just dead.
Right.
This thing has a so you got fall, winter, spring. You got plants, crops you can grow in the winter, plants you can grow in the summer, but you got to plant the winter crops in the fall and the summer crops in the spring. But if there's no fall, there's no winter, when do you plant? If you plant too early in the fall, it's too hot. They will not germinate. If you plant too late, they get caught by the winter and then they're burned. Same thing in the spring. In the spring, if you plant too early, the plant will come up and it will die because of frost. You plant too late, the plant is going to burn up because of the heat. Okay? This ain't no game.
Right.
See, we playing God for a fool. You playing Elijah Muhammad for a fool.
That's right.
Our people are playing for a fool.
Right.
The enemy is trying to kill you, is killing you. Playing to wipe your ass out. Allah got to wipe them out and some of you out too. So that you respect him, so you do what Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tell you to do, because this ain't no damn game out here.
Right.
This is a matter of life and death, because he ain't playing. He want you.
Right.
It's time.
Right.
I know it's time. We're going to shut it down. can't get to this either. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well.
Part three.
Oh well. I want to end on this. No, wait a minute. Let's be long. There's a reverse underground railroad that's already in effect.
All right now.
Black folks is coming back down south
Right,
by the
right.
hundreds of thousands. But they're not, they haven't been organized.
Yes, sir.
We got to organize them to put them in place to benefit themselves and us.
Right.
They come to Georgia, but they stop in Atlanta. They need to come on down south where they can get more bang for the buck with the money.
Right.
And actually start something they can control. You can't be up in Atlanta if you ain't got enough money to control the leadership in Atlanta. When they do you like they did Minister Sharif, they mess up your damn road so you lose your businesses.
Right.
If you ain't got enough power, and down in Georgia, I made them fix my roads. They wouldn't get that equipment that I wanted to get.
That's right.
All right. If you are big enough in a small area, you can make them do something. But if you just small in a big area with a bunch of people, you can't get them Negroes on your side. You're not gonna be able to make the changes necessary. Okay. So I say, look, if you go get your own, jump over Atlanta, come on down to Southwest Georgia. Let us build an example of what can be done on our own so Allah can bless us with more. One day, He's going to give us something that we're going to be able to build and sell to the rest of the world and become super rich. But He can't give it to us at this point because all we can do at this point is talk about it.
Right.
And when we talk about it, somebody else go pick it up and they go do it. So we have to be separated. We have to be in business. We got to be able to produce something and to distribute something so that then He can give us something. That's why we set up the Stable Goods Project. At least we're going to be able to have a distribution system.
Right.
So that when the product does come to us, that we were able to get it distributed. So thank you very much for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum. I went through a lot of it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, so is anybody here for their first time? Oh, you your first time? Thank you for coming. Do you like the church? Do you think it's good for our people? Would you like to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Would you like to join onto your own and be yourself and help us build for you and your family? You ready? Huh? You want to come back? Oh, praise the Lord. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Go ahead.
I want to ask you too. So,
Well, you can always get me on Facebook. Original Look Me. That's why I do my real, my nut cracking. Go ahead.
so what you just said about the DNA and the RNA, I didn't know about that. But what do you think about like when you have gardens and stuff like that at your house and then they come and fly by and you see those chemtrails and stuff like that and that stuff falls down on your brush? Should we just have greenhouses or hoop houses or something?
Well, let me tell you something about the hoop houses and greenhouses. Then you got to water it every day. Okay? The labor requirement, we got one at the house. The labor requirements, people get them and they use them maybe a year or two. They get a while from the labor. You cannot put growth. Native beans, rice, wheat, you're not going to grow it in the greenhouse. You need acres and acres and acres. You can grow some beans in a greenhouse, you might get enough for one bowl of soup.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you got to have acres and acres of land to do that. We have what's called the unity fast. Until we get our own, then we got to obey the rules.
Yes, sir.
The unity fast is to help us get rid of the poisons.
Yes.
The navy beans are to help us fight the poisons. So we would eat the bean soup the way we're supposed to, eat one meal a day,
Right.
and then for 3 days out the month, don't eat anything and don't look at TV. I'm adding that part. Don't look at TV. But that will help us to get through this. See, you're not going to do anything that's going to save you completely from being poisoned because you're all wrapped up in it.
That's right.
Until we can get away to our own. Now, when we get away to our own, we belong to Master Farad Muhammad. I don't believe he will allow the planes to fly over us.
That's right.
Let me give you an example. And I'm going to do this is funny. January 31st, I was supposed to go to Chicago. And I was going to cuss a lot of people up out in Chicago. However, it was so cold in Chicago that the planes could not land. So they were saved from being cussed out. So I believe that if we would do what we're supposed to do and get close enough where he can delineate a safe space for us, then we can be protected. But we in the middle of them, and we are being poisoned by them. We should leave them. We think being close to white folks is somehow going to protect us. And now our children getting missing. You know you can't, somebody start knocking on your door in the middle of the night, are you going to get up and open the door? Well, if you get somebody attacking you and you run to their house in the middle of the night, are they going to open the door for you? No. So why live amongst that? You got no protection out there amongst them people. Because they're scared to death of white folk. You need to be with your own, at least somebody can give a warning, they're coming, and we go out and fight. If we got to die, well damn it, we just died. Guess what? You're going to die anyhow. Hell, most of the time you get killed in a damn auto accident.
Right.
But that's again, they going to solve that problem. Give you a call, you got to drive, and of course they're going to be no accidents no more. Until we get you personal. Anyway, that's another story. Any more questions? Oh, huh?
Yes.
Okay, one more question, we got to go.
You showed the picture with the DNA and the RNA. The RNA, they're copies, right?
Yes.
They copy. So is that what they did? They
No.
stopped the RNA from being able to copy?
A particular protein. They stop the RNA from producing a particular protein, and therefore that plant would have a lack of that protein. When you eat it, it's going to cause a diminution of the sperm. They already have a germ that they developed in 1999, a company called Epicite. Epicite found a germ that Monsanto and DuPont put in their corn and soybeans that kill sperm. They're still in there. Now, when they do this new GMO, they're going to have the old method and a new method, all hooked up together to wipe out the black sperm. Now, unfortunately for white folks, a lot of white folks is passing. All right? But they're not going to figure this thing out because they're so damn white, believe they're white, they're not going to figure it out until too late why they don't have no babies. They ain't trying to have no babies no way. So, the science of the enemy, as long as he's able to touch us, that's why he wants us not to separate, so he can touch us, so he can get to us. He's going to figure out different ways to poison us. Okay, that's how he operates, through poisons. Okay? So, inshallah, y'all invite me back.
Yes, sir.
We'll do it again, and I'll finish out some more of these slides. Thank you.